Hey guys, Mr. Lad here. I'm just giving you guys a short little video tutorial on how we are going to design our t-shirts with our heat transfer vinyl. We're going to be using two programs for this. This is CutStudio and then Photoshop so that we can threshold our image. So you can see here I have an image here. It's a black and white image. It was not originally black and white. And then if you take a look at my CutStudio design, it's mirrored. Now this is important. This is a little bit different than the 20-minute video that I made on how to use the basic functions of CutStudio, because that was for how to make a vinyl sticker. Now we're actually going to apply this to a t-shirt. So I wanted to show this to you guys first. The reason why it's a little bit different than that video before is I went through all the basic functions of CutStudio. So if you've not watched that video, I highly suggest you do so. This here, because we're doing this on a heat transferred vinyl material, we have to mirror our image. So my image is, in a sense, backwards. It's upside down. It doesn't look like how it's supposed to look like. But when we cut it on the vinyl cutter and peel away all the stuff we don't want, and then we heat press it onto our t-shirt or a hoodie, it will look the way that it's supposed to look. So I wanted to show you guys that first. Alright, what you're going to do for your t-shirt is you guys are going to do your favorite musician. You guys are going to include an image of your musician, and then you are also going to be including, their name in a text of some sort. For mine, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with Anderson .Paak, because right now he's my favorite artist. So I have an image of Anderson .Paak. I'm going to copy and paste this image onto a Photoshop file. If you don't know how to set up a Photoshop file, I suggest you watch some tutorials, because I've already talked about how to set up Photoshop files already. Alright, so I have an image of Anderson here. I'm going to make him a little bit bigger so that I can actually work with him. Just enter. Okay, then now I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, and then Threshold to turn them black and white. You might still have to do a little bit of editing to them. For instance, here I got to get rid of all my background, but fortunately, like cooking shows, I've already edited him. I've already cooked him. Look at that, nice and edited. Okay, so I'm gonna go to File. I'm gonna go to Save, and I'm gonna save as a JPEG file. I've already saved this as a JPEG, so you should save it as Save As type JPEG, and then save it. All right, so I already have him saved here as a JPEG. I'm gonna open up my CutStudio file. All right, so I should have a blank document like so, and then I'm just gonna click and drag Anderson over. Alright, so now I have him here. Okay, and just like the first video, I'm going to get the image outline of him. So I'm going to right click on him, I'm going to go image outline, and I'm going to go extract contour lines. Now, unlike the first video, I'm going to keep this image because I want to use him as a reference. I want to make sure that whatever I'm cutting out on the outlines, it's going to be the same for him. Alright, so his outline, we're going to do a little bit of editing to him. We're going to fix some of the things that are kind of weird. So for instance, his outline, his shirt here, it doesn't have to be all this detailed. I can kind of make it a little bit simpler. Now, like the first video I said before, rule of thumb, the less points you have, the easier and simpler your shape is. So I'm just going to delete some of these weird little points that I don't need to necessarily keep. All right. Delete that. That got kind of weird, so instead of selecting all of this and deleting it, you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on it and I'm going to go select segments, and then I'm only selecting the things that are in that segment. So delete. Alright, and delete, and delete. Alright, use your image to kind of lay it over or put it behind the outline to make sure that you're still adhering to the image. So here, if I line it up, I can see that there's a few things that I've missed, like for instance the dimples here. Like, so I could use my polygonal aligner tool and I can draw in the dimples myself so that I still have those dimples there. Okay, and then if you want, this is important to note, keep yourself organized, especially when you have so many objects on CutStudio. You can group all your objects together. So I'm going to press group. Everything moves together, including the two dimples that I just drew right here. If I did not do that, and I don't have them grouped, and I try to move my outline, you can see my dimples don't go with it. Alright? It's important to note that you don't want to group your objects together when we are mirroring our images. So I'll show you what I mean here. So I'm going to go back to the file that I've already edited. So I have here Pack, he's already been mirrored. All right, let's say I want to make him look the way that I actually want to create my decal here. So if I note here, all these guys are their own objects. They're not grouped together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select them all. So I have each individual object selected. I'm going to go to Object, and then I'm going to go to Mirror. So now Pack is looking the way that he's supposed to be looking, right? And the words are looking the way that they're supposed to look. If I were to group all these objects together, I go to Group, and then I try to mirror the image, it's not going to let me. You see that the mirror is faded. So you got to make sure that all your objects are not grouped together, but all your objects are selected. And then I'm going to go mirror image. All right, that's it. For your design, you need to make sure that your image is mirrored because we cut it out that way, and then when we heat press it onto your t-shirt or your hoodie, it looks the way that it's supposed to look. It looks non-mirrored. Edit your image, make sure that you are getting rid of anything weird that should not be there. In terms of the face of your celebrity, keep it this weird, because all those little weird shapes will create the design and the texture and the tone of your musician's face. I want you guys to include the fonts, the text, the words, the name of your musician. For me personally, I put these two rectangles on top, bottom and top of my design because that's what I want to put on my t-shirt. I'm using these two rectangles as my encapsulating shape that keeps all my design together and unified. Alright, you guys, that's it. So I'll see you guys later. Stay healthy and stay safe.